What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. If I had to give an underestimated set of the year, it is Flood by far. Originally, we didn't have the Link Brains pack cards we wanted. We only got 3, and none were that exciting for us. A lot of people called Infinite Impermanence to be a $50 card, and it has proved above that so far since it has come out. And now Ghost Belle. The Ghost Girls always seem to go above what we expected. Yesterday, I showed that it was starting to trend up. It got bought out pretty much completely and reset at a price of $70 for now. Now, I've seen multiple discussion threads on it and a lot of people saying she was completely underestimated, that she is actually somewhat deserving of this price point. And while I don't think she's an Ash Blossom, at the same time, I certainly underestimated what she could do, and I pulled aside a few cards from different things. Of course, it stops a staple like Monster Reborn, but from either player's graveyard where Called by the Grave doesn't, and it stops Soul Charge completely where Called by the Grave doesn't. It also stops Called by the Grave where Called by the Grave doesn't. Are we seeing a pattern here? It stops some key cards here, but in Goki's it stops Goki Rematch, in Altergeist it stops Manifestation, and importantly in Spirals it stops Double Helix, and it stops Sky Striker Ace Kagari as well. These are huge meta spread cards, and something she does that the other Ghost Girls don't, that a lot of people didn't get at first, is that she negates the activations. That's actually very important, whereas most of the Ghost Girls aren't capable of negating an activation. Ghost Belle actually manages to do that. So, completely different than the rest of the Ghost Sisters, sitting up here at an insane new price. I think it will come down from here. I could see her resting back at 50, but she was clearly underestimated. I underestimated her at first as well, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles originally had these, I think, at 31 on presale, and they're pretty good at calling the market, so that's a pretty big bump. Ibli as well. Man, if you were using this code and you got it on Flood, you made it out like bandits. Ibli sitting here at 49. Like I said, it's a one-of, but we have the first shorter printed cards in a core set in forever. And then the Nightmares are just wrecking havoc with Gokis, with Spirals, with so many different decks. So you have this expansive, almost universe of options that end up revolving around this kind of extra deck strategy. And then the Altergeist too. Realistically, Flood really changed the map and face of the game, and it's not getting reprinted in the Megatons on the horizon. So, underestimated set of the year, a fresh buyout with Ghost Belle. I've got to give it to Flood. I didn't expect it to be as good as it is, and it's really just pounding it out now. So those special editions that are coming out, you might want to look forward to those just a little more, especially with how the market's receiving them. But we do have, as I repeated almost every market watch, that off season where we're not going to have events, and we might see a lot of these prices trickle down during that time. Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell is getting up here a little. I have not seen this card get hyped in how many ages? How many ages? Oh my gosh. And every time it does, it feels a little underwhelming. I get the concept that, oh, I'm stopping Sky Strikers from activating and engage ever again. Ha ha ha, my somewhat dollar card, which has been bought out a little bit more now, is stopping hundreds of dollars. Oh, okay, calm down there. First off, you had to go first to get this, so it's more of a side deck option. Second off, I don't know about that one, Kev. I get that they recycle their spells so they get annoying because they get even more use, but I feel like there's just better options in the form of stuff like Anti-Spell Fragrance, Imperial Order. I don't know how to feel about Curse Seal, but let me know what you think. I've always felt like it's a unique card, that it takes a certain timing and activation, but at the same time, I feel like it's limited in its options, and a lot of players tend to shotgun it early. A lot of players just shotgun it early. That's where I'll leave that at. Typhoon has been going up consistently, and there are very, very few quantities on market overall between the versions. Why is this? Well, you're going to play it in the main deck for a lot of players in Sky Strikers. I've actually seen a lot of the better European players playing this in their main deck, and they're just popping the anti-spells and stuff like Imperial Order with it, and trying to take care of their opponent's floodgate options for their deck, which is pretty good. It can't take care of Nat Beast, hint hint. But we've seen it consistently going up here, and the Shatter Foil version, I would consider the Super Rare better than the Shatter Foil, but it's kind of keeping track alongside the Super Rare, the OP01. And this is from our first OTS pack, so now these are hard to get. This is something that's not very easy to just obtain, and there's only 2 copies of the Super on all of eBay, so it's something you might want to go ahead over here on TCG Player and get while they last at $6.50. If you've been thinking about playing it in your Sky Strikers, or maybe haven't considered it, you might want to consider it now, thinking about, it doesn't seem so bad being able to just pop off on Anti-Spell Fragrance or Imperial Order. This is like the underestimate market watch. We all underestimated True Dracos, I think, on the ban list, except a very few people. And we lost Masterpiece, yes, but this had 2 tops, and it's actually starting to really pull itself forward around Metaltron. We have 3 Ignis now. We have Knuckles back, the traps are putting in work, and yet this is relatively budget overall. It's actually insane how budget it is. Yes, Diagram's going to be in the 10s, so a lot of this deck might be reprinted, but you're compared to the rest of the meta, you're actually looking at a somewhat budget deck for a WCQ that you might want to consider, that has the ability to top, that has the consistency to go through all those rounds. And it's really actually just surprising to me how powerful Metaltron is, how hard it can be to take care of, and it's something that maybe not everybody thought of. And then Metaltron is a floater as well. I really like the True Dracos. I thought it would have to lie on a crutch like Metal Foes, and it does not. It just doesn't. It works on its own. And yes, Diagram has a reprint on the horizon, which is actually what helps this deck be even more of a budget deck for WCQ. You're looking at like the rest of the meta, you got 3 engages, all this crazy stuff, whereas this deck you might be looking at spending somewhere near 200 with how it is for all your key pieces right now. So something to highly consider towards the WCQ, something you might have underestimated, and if you were playing True Dracos before and you let it go, you probably won on prices by letting it go, and now might be the time just to recover it and decide, I'm a really good True Draco player, I think I can make this work. But let me know in the comment section below if you think it is viable, if you think it can keep up with the Sky Strikers, because it appears to be doing so in some metas, but the prices, they definitely don't reflect that it's one of the top decks. So I think it's a contender, but you do have decks, and especially like getting trap immunity against stuff like Altergeist. Come on, like what's Altergeist gonna do to like a really hopped up, insane, immune to everything Metaltron? I don't know. What do you do? You Altergeist players to something like that? Do you just cry? Do you cry yourself to sleep, or do you got answers for towers? So this is why you don't buy into hype. This is just an example I want to show directly a day later. I told you guys I expected it to fall back towards a $50 price point very fast, and it's falling even faster than I expected. Nobody's holding the line. People are making sales. Quantities are flooding back to the market. 21 prices already on Widow Anchor the day after none. Don't buy in 2 cards right after a buyout. No matter how bad you're freaking out, this Widow Anchor is gonna fall. It's gonna shave off. Like anything that gets pounded like that is. Like, you don't have to play this in every variant. Some variants just play the engages along. Who wants this card last one? I did not expect that. Pittsburgh Yu-Gi-Oh! You got some unique selling tactics. I gotta give it to you. I did not expect to see a man holding a card who wants this card last one. I gotta give it to you. That's the most unique TCG player listing I've seen so far. Good stuff. I'm sorry. You get free advertisement here. You get props, dude. Fucking hustling out here. Oh my god. Family friendly content, boys. It's not loading. I don't know. Oh. 150k plus items being added very soon. More items like this to come. Come and get it. Oh man. Oh man. Good stuff. Pittsburgh Yu-Gi-Oh! You have my respect, man. That's literally the hustle. Someone pay the extra $1 if you're spending over 100 on this card. Oh, I'm in tears. I'm legitimately in tears. Oh my gosh. But yeah, the day after a price bumps like that, like crazy, no, you shouldn't be buying Ghost Bells at 70. You should wait and see what happens. It's unlikely to continue going up. So the same with Widow Anchor, you know, you shouldn't expect like, oh man, it's low quantity. Look at how many just appear a day after, how many people are willing to sell a day after. And it actually went up on eBay from its price, meeting at 60, but it's lowering on TCG Player, which will give competition, which will make it lower. But look at how many came out of the woodwork the moment it was down in price. Just take a look. How many? Yep. So this is why you don't do that, kids. That's why you don't go for it. And finally, to note, Toon Cannon Soldier, last time we showed it was actually at 200. Seems to be settling out all the degenerate FDKs. If you want a searchable Cannon Soldier, you can play Toon Cannon Soldier. 3 Toon Table of Contents, that even helps some FDKs out by getting the spells in the grave. And then the DB one is actually listed at $12. We've got the DB2 over here at 10 for Toon Cannon Soldier. Yeah, it's just ridiculous how many people are inspired by the FTKs, but you have consistent across the board involving Cannon Soldier. You've got ABC, you got Gokis, somewhat competitive viability decks that are actually a problem, perhaps, and you can side this in going first. So it's kind of like, surprise, mother ducker, and you take care of it. And then finally, this is a weird suggestion to get right now, but super sphere modes, every time I've seen something become such a big meme in the community, it spikes in price. I'm not, memes making money? Weird. But legitimately, there's only 36 sellers on sphere mode, and with how many memes are around it, and the inevitability that at some point there will be multiple boss monster boards where a kaiju alone's not gonna do it, you might want to consider sphere mode, especially since it doesn't special summon. If you have cards that get you locked out of special summoning, this cannot be special summoned and requires 3 tributes from either side of the field. So it doesn't necessarily have to just rely on your opponent, but it will eat your normal summon by being tributed. So you do want to consider that, but there's going to be a point in time where this rises unless it's reprinted again. And we've seen that consistently. The ultra rare has gone up over time. It had fallen below the $12 mark, and it's like, I think it was like 9, 8, and it's consistently risen back. We'll see the supers follow suit eventually, and it looks like it drops off on the graph, but it has consistently risen over time. 1250, yeah, from where it initially dropped off, and it has stayed stable. Yeah, you might want to consider the same kind of thing with the super. Yeah, you just want to have these in your arsenal in case. Thanks for watching, everybody. What did you think of today's Market Watch? Dude, Pittsburgh Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you for the laugh so much. Oh my god, I did not see that coming. And also, what do you guys think of buyouts like Ghost Belle? Do you think it is legit because it hits so many matchups? Hitting Helix is huge because they're going to link summon for Helix. They're likely to have the monsters in the grave for accessibility. Ghost Belle being able to hit Helix, that is just big, in my opinion. Something I didn't consider. So it has something for basically every matchup, but is that enough? Having a counter for certain cards in that many matchups, or is it too specific in what it counters? Everybody pretty much plays Reborn, I think. I feel like a lot of decks do. So take it as you may. Do you play this? Do you play Called by the Grave? And what do you think it will fall back down to? My call is it'll be 50-ish pretty soon.